I even forgot to record. Okay, all right, guys. So with that, let me share my the spreadsheet in here, and you guys will like be amazed by this, right? So this is the deal, Mike. And this is the first time that actually Mike has seen this deal. But basically, let's go to the current tab. So as you can see here, this is a limited service hotel. It's a Holiday Inn actually.
Okay.
We will not tell them where it is at because the deal is still live. Okay, we're still negotiating this. And the ADR, that's the nightly rate, right? So every night on average all throughout the year is $89 per night. Occupancy of 78%. It's in a tourist area, so lots of demand.
78%?
Yep.
Okay.
81 keys, and Holiday Inn, we estimate it will be
Yeah,
at
9
9%,
cap,
right?
yeah.
9 cap, right? And the seller is asking 7 million.
7 million. Okay.
And then
Got it.
like bottom line, if you think about it, right? The deal doesn't make sense because your equity multiplier, right, is only 1.19. So only 1.19. So what that means, guys, is for every $1 million that you put in, after 5 years of doing all that work, you only got like 1,190,000. So it's not worth it, right? So, but that's the deal. And then, like, because when you just take it over, there's also a chance, like in the first year, as you change management, et cetera, there are some inefficiencies in there, and you only count like 4 years of stabilized cash flow. Do you agree with that, Mike?
Yep.
Yeah. Now, and then being a limited service hotel, the NOI as percent of gross is about 30%, right?
Okay.
Now, the play that Rance thought of is, why not I convert this to a full service hotel? Okay.
Really?
Yeah. So as a full service hotel, based on his market analysis, the ADR now jumps to 120 a night. Okay. And
Wow.
really the occupancy can jump even higher than 78%. However, just to be conservative, we keep it at 78%. But in reality, Mike, in that area, there's no full service hotel.
Really?
Yeah.
So now as full service, so he wants to put a restaurant and a bar in there. Is that what
Yes.
you're saying? Okay.
Yep. And that's why
And limited service. So some people don't know, limited services are like our Hampton Inn, Comfort Suite. They only has like a little guest store,
right.
No bar, no. If they ain't serving no food, meaning to your room service, it's pretty much not. If there's no restaurant downstairs, it's pretty much not a full service.
Right. Okay. So converting to a full service hotel, the upside is there will be additional income now, right? Of 138,000. Like he just assumed like 5% of the total gross hotel room revenue.
Okay.
Kind of realistic, but obviously we need to like really dig deeper into it once it becomes a deal. The downside is because now you have more expenses.
That's right.
Now your NOI as percent of gross goes down to 25%.
Okay.
Right. But since you are getting a lot more in terms of your room rate, right? Then in reality, your total NOI will increase. And that's why now the hotel is valued at 8 million, whereas before, as a limited service, it's less than 7 million.
Okay.
Right. Now, but still, in order to convert it to full service, we estimate that there will be a PIP.
Yep.
So for those of you who don't know, what's a PIP, Mike?
A PIP is basically just a renovation in layman's hotel terms, a property improvement program.
Right.
Basically, you're going in and enhancing the property. It could be a hard renovation or soft renovation. Hard, basically, you're doing everything. Soft is kind of just doing some blinds and comforters and things like that.
Right. So the estimate is $1 million PIP. And then to be conservative, now the profit and the cash flow, we consider 3 years of stabilized cash flow, right, Mike? Because we're putting in restaurants, there's going to be some construction going on. Therefore, we won't take advantage of like 5 years of cash flow. To be conservative, it's only 3 years of stabilized cash flow.
Okay.
Right. But then still the deal is like 1.22x. Is that a good deal, Mike?
We got any music? Wah, wah, wah.
Right. It's still not good is still not a good deal, right? Because it's worth 8, but you're buying it for 7 and you're putting in 1 million. Obviously, right there, you know, you don't even have to do the math, right? Right there, it's not a good deal, right? Now, but Rance was able to get this, Mike. I mean, Rance was able to get key money.
Ooh,
you know,
that may make it interesting.
Yeah, yeah. So, Mike, can you explain what key money is?
Key money is when the actual brand is willing to give money into the deal.
Right.
And so they're doing that because they believe time value money, that the future, they base it on a few things, but
Right.
it's going to generate enough income
Mm-hmm.
over a few years. Like, because they're going to take in all these different
Royalties, right?
fees,
Exactly.
and everything like that. So by putting in money, they expect to get money back over a period of time.
Right. So it's not free money, right? I mean, but get this, Mike, because there's no full service hotel in this particular city, which is a hot tourist area, there are 2 franchisors fighting over this deal, willing to give Rance key money. Okay, that's how crazy it is. And so without the $1 million, right? Now the deal is 1.72x equity multiple.
Okay, that's
Still not good, but it's getting there, right?
Yeah, okay.
You know, so and then I told Rance, well, right now you're putting in 35% down payment at an 8.2% interest rate. You know, what if he explores getting like a mezzanine financing with, let's say, SBA loan?
Yes.
And so he looked into that, and what he told me was that he can get 15% SBA loan.
Yes, you can, or something like that.
Right. And the interest rate is low, like 5.5%.
Get out of here.
I know, right? So in combination, this effective interest rate goes down from 8.2 to 7.5, maybe even 7%.
Okay.
And the down payment needed is now only 20%. And get this, now the equity multiple is 2.12.
Man, they're finding the good in the deal.
Exactly. This is the whole except, you know, this is an actual deal.
They moved a lot around.
This is an actual deal by a mastermind member, and then by asking us as coaches, we're able to guide them, like from this being a bad deal, now it's getting in the right direction, right?
Yes.
And then lastly, I told him this was just last week, Mike, that hey, you know what? He actually put an LOI at 7 million.
Oh, did it?
And it got accepted. Okay.
Yes.
And then he, you know, and then he discussed this deal with me last Wednesday, and I told him, look, you know, it's still not a good deal. You need to renegotiate this, right? And then I told him at 6.5 million, right? You know, at 6.5 million, this is a good deal. And true enough, the equity multiple is 2.66x. Okay. You know, and he already lined up a private investor using the techniques that we taught him.
We've been talking about that investor for a while, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, and that investor can easily put up the entire 1.3 million.
That sounds good.
You know, so right now he's renegotiating the deal. You know, hopefully get the deal done. Because what is going to happen is his investment structure with his investor is 70-30. You know, and with that structure, meaning the investor gets 70% of the profit, and then he gets the remaining 30%. But with the structure, his investor will double his money, right?
Yes.
You know, because at 2.66x is actually a little bit over double his money. Like in the chat, who here wants to double their money in 5 years? And you do absolutely nothing. Totally passive. Like who in the chat wants to double their money? Who in the chat, me, you know, or double, or you know, lazy money, whatever. Right?
Let's go back over here. So 2 people said something. I think it's Christopher. It might be Gibson. I'm not sure. But Christopher is saying, hey, man, 78% occupancy is really high. 68% is more realistic. Now, I don't have the information. I'm just going to assume here today. But realistically, the reason why I believe they have 78% and knowing Rand, he already had a star report.
Right. That's
one. And 2, these are the existing trailing 12s that he utilized.
Right, right.
So
Yep.
we
got both.
He's one of our students. So that is why I believe they're using 78%. Now, by going to 68 or 62%, you can determine what your, worst case scenario is if the market would collapse or change. But currently, that's where the market is projected and where it's going.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
So,
national average, yes, I agree, 68% makes sense, right? But this is a hot area that
Yeah.
people want to vacation in.
Yeah.
And again, there's no full service hotel. And what happened also was, like talking about insider trading. Now in the stock market, right? Insider trading will land you in jail, like Martha
Right.
Stewart, right?
Okay.
But in the real estate industry, it's almost like all insider trading if you think about it, right?
Right.
And what he found was he found a plan from a hotel franchisor wanting to go into that area. And that's how he found, oh my God, the ADR will be 120 based on the analysis.
Okay.
So it's like he did his homework, guys. And so 78% is actually conservative considering that where the market is at in that particular area. And then when you convert one, because there is no full service hotel and that's very much in demand, like your 78% is actually conservative. So
and then Neil had a couple of things. He talked about, now that's, he talked about a prepayment penalty. I don't disagree with that, but pretty much any loan you deal with, you're going to have to do with prepayment penalty and
defeasance. But they both start with D. That's good. you got that right. Okay, they both start with D.
So I mean, regardless, naturally they have to set that up in their deal, but most of the time these deals are assumable. So they're typically there for that. So I don't think they're going to terminate the license. Even in my agreement, I have like mine 5-year or.
So you mean the
franchise
agreement?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, according to Rance, there's no I think there's no termination fee for the franchise agreement because it has already been like 15
so
years.
What they're gonna extend, what they're just talking about for if the agreement, the downside if you terminate your agreement. Yeah. So yeah, Chris, every market is different. If you were thinking that you were just doing numbers, yes, I would agree with you. Like, man, you should take those numbers down to see where it is. But if the market's there and it's proven, then yes.
Yeah, like for example, Sarasota, Florida, your hotel deal, right?
I mean, 80-something%
right.
For a while.
Why will you put 68% in the underwriting if there is so much?
Well, the only reason you do that is just kind of what they call a stress test.
Right.
See where the market really is.
Yeah. Like you have a worst case scenario, you have the likely case scenario, and then you have your best case scenario. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Chris is like, I'm a DOS, constantly temper only. Yeah, you got to control the expectation. But Chris, you got to get out there and steal customers. You got to steal business, brother. You got to do that what I call parking lot pimping. You got to drive your comp set and take business. Take business, brother. I love that DOS stuff. I learned how to sell and Chris, what brand are you selling with? If you don't mind sharing. Delta Marriott. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's great, man. So you got a big full service, big box. If you're using a Delta, I'm pretty sure that's a big box. You got a lot of selling, 240 rooms, yes. And do you sell the banquet space as well, or just more focus on the rooms?
Even the banquet space, I guess. 5,000 square feet of meeting rooms. Cool.
So,
and Danny Gold said, where can I find details in the mastermind? We will let you know just in a few minutes here. But let's answer all of your guys' questions on how to analyze deals.
I have 2 salespeople. I have a BT. They have a okay. Anything else? Oh no, let's go on to the next. Well, so where are we at with this deal? What do we do?
Yeah, so right now it's under negotiation. So hopefully, you know, he can get the 6.5 million, but he believes based on his conversation so far with the broker and the seller, which by the way, this is a totally off-market deal. You know, like it's not even with a broker,
It's
but
not.
yeah, but what happened was the seller is actually selling a property with a broker. And then, you know, using the techniques that we taught Grants in the Mastermind, like he was able to convince the broker to send him an off-market deal. Okay. And so, yeah, in fact, the seller doesn't even want to sell this. And it's like when he offered to buy it, it's like 7 million. And the seller is very smart, right? Because currently it's really worth 7 million.
Yeah.
So of course he wants to sell it for what it's worth. But as we taught our mastermind members, right, you need to buy, right, with a discount, right? Because you make money with the buy, right? Right, Mike? So yeah. So all right, what are these questions here? Is 6.5 million conservative enough to consider contingencies? Yes, because you know, like our minimum equity multiple is really 2.5 if you're going to double your investors' money, right? Like mathematically at 70-30 LP GP split, 2.5x is your kind of minimum. So at 6.5 million, it has like an extra, like here, we can change this price to let's say 6.7 and see what happens. You're at 2.43. So in theory, he can go up by 200,000, but I told him like 6.5, let's make that your firm price, right? Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And then Anil Patel, he should ask the seller to carry some of his price instead of getting an SBA, gets rid of the prepayment fees, and gets a better structure for return on investment. It also allows the seller to get closer to the price they want and convince them to take a much lower interest rate. Yeah, that's a possibility too, you know.
Yeah, no, we always believe in asking the seller to throw in some money or carry back.
Right. Yeah, like I know you're the king of that, right?
Yeah, all my
like all your hotel deals
like
is
my
like
last
joint
3
venture.
hotels,
Yeah.
you know, all I did was assume existing debt.
Yep. And doing joint ventures with the seller, this is cool.
Yeah,
You know. So
is that LPGP split on equity only? Yeah, no, it's when we do splits, it's based on the all distributions and net proceeds from the sale.
monthly cash flow plus the proceeds.
And that's
from the
just
sale.
not just us, that's everybody.
Kind of industry standard.
You know, how you structure.
Mhm.
And just because we do a 70-30, that doesn't mean that's how all deals are structured. They can be structured any kind of way that works out.
Yeah, like with Mike's experience, you know, you're really more like 50-50, right? You know, so more on the and then sometimes it's flipped. It's like 30-70, 30 to the LP, 70 to the GPs. You know, because Mike finds like this really, really good deals like 3x, 4x equity multiple. You know, so but yeah. Any other questions, guys?
Yeah, what else we got here?
All right. Well, Neil Sharma said, "I'm a hotelier and have a deal if you can analyze it on screen. You want to do that?"
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Let's,
So
give us some. We need some basic answers. I need you to answer these. Number
Here.
one.
Let me.
Number one, answer these while we're talking here. What's the current occupancy?
Hold on. Let me just create like a. Yeah. So this is the kind of things that we do every week, almost every day, really, for our assignment members.
Yeah, where you at? We're gonna bring you in here. But I need to know. I need you to have this ready. Occupancy, number of rooms, and ADR. That's kind of the basic, and then purchase price. So do you have those 4 items?
Hold on. Let me just put it as Neil's deal. All right. All right, go ahead. What's the ADR? Or actually, go ahead. You can, you know, if you want to talk, you can talk. Actually, too.
Should type. No, we'll bring you in. Just have those. Yep.
Oh, okay. Where is he at? 20s. Neil Sharma. Love to talk.
All right, Neil,
Go
we're
ahead,
about
Neil.
to bring you in, brother. Neil, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hey,
Oh,
thank you guys. Hey, Mike.
hey guys. All right.
Yeah, so
What's your
we
ADR?
got a ADR of $100. This is a $100 at about 69% occupancy, 108 rooms.
Okay. And then what brand is this?
It's a courtyard.
Courtyard, so that should be at
Marriott.
least an 8 cap. Depending on now if it's in a better quality area, it could be down in the mid-7s. And then what's the purchase price?
That's about 30%.
Yeah, we can use 30%.
Somewhere in the mid 8.
8 million.
Mid-8 to 8.5 million.
Yeah.
And then how much for PIP or renovation does it need?
Pips, there's some time, probably about 3 years, estimating, let's say about 2 million.
And that doesn't need to be done right now?
No.
Okay, we're gonna do it 2 ways. Let's just see where it is now and then with that. All right, so right now.
And then what the long terms? We still
Oh yeah,
stick it
what
with
kind of long
20%.
term? I mean, that's 30%, 7.5.
To make it 30%.
Yeah, you can factor that.
Yeah, I mean, that's standard. I mean, if you get below that, that's even better. Okay, so what we got is,
Oh, there's no other income. This is
Yeah,
limited
take that out.
service. And franchise fees, same franchise, you won't change franchise?
yeah, I'll just leave it as 30%, 30%.
You mean 30,000? The franchise in
Oh,
fees?
it'll be 125,000.
Okay.
Right.
So the gross rent is roughly 2.8. You got operating expenses. Is that right? 762?
No, just ignore that
Yeah. that's what
because
I
it's
said.
30%.
So we use 30%. So your NOI of this 2.79 is 815. You got debt of just shy of 700,000. So you got cash flow of 150,000 a year. Is that right? So you need 3.1 to do the deal, 3.2. And you scroll down, I can't see. Let's see. So overall,
It's only one.
it's the equity multiplier is not that great. It's all, I mean, you're just getting your money back.
Yep.
What is the cash? Oh, the cash on cash is only 5%.
Now, granted, this is 3 years of stabilized cash flow.
Yeah.
But
Stabilized.
if you just take it over, well, but because there's PIP, then yeah, that's realistic, right, Mike?
Yeah. Well, he's going to venture or he sells it for the pit, but they're still going to discount it. Profit from cash flow is 469. How'd you get that? Oh, 3 years.
3
total.
years worth of cash
Yeah.
flow.
All right. So in order to make this deal worth it, two things really got to happen. Your occupancy is good if it's at 69%. So what I believe, you got to get that ADR up at
Right.
least 15, 20 bucks. And that price needs to come down to, let's say, 7 million, 7.5. So 6, what does it look like? What, 125 and 7.5?
Yeah, it's
So
2.5.
now there you
yeah.
go.
Yeah.
Now that's a deal. So
Man.
what in order?
Mike is like, try this, like it's already a deal.
Yeah.
You don't even have to like
Yeah.
calculate it.
So what I'm saying is, if you do the renovations, one, would that push your ADR up 125? You know, how old is the building, right? How old is the FF&E? If it's pretty old, and you upgrade it, I would do the PIP right away, and that allow you to get $15 to $25 more a night. Then if you take the price down $1 million, Now you're talking about a deal. And then you look, you've been making a 15% cash on cash on your equity.
Yeah.
So
really
but
good.
what makes this deal sweeter is your financing. So, you know, I think you might be able to find, I mean, 30% is standard. But if you can get the owner to hold 5% or get a better loan to value, I mean, what if you got a loan to value of 25%?
You mean 75%, so the down payment is 25%.
Yeah.
Yep, now you're 2.8, 2.77x. Yeah.
And is it cash flowing? And the cash flow is going up 16% on money. So those are the key things about that hotel. What generation, do you know which model this Marriott is?
It's one of the original ones.
Yeah, so probably a Gen 1. Yeah, that's gonna need a lot of renovation. Have they done any renovation? Like, did they do the interior or not the exterior? What have they done?
Lobby was done a couple years ago completely. Guest rooms and all of that estimates to about 15 a key.
Okay. So yeah. So what would be your goal? What would make you interested in this deal? Is it, I mean, naturally 2.7 sounds better and 16%.
So
what's your strategy?
our strategy, this would definitely not be a immediate exit strategy type of deal.
Yeah.
It seems like it would be more of a hold. It's good to see what you changed up. Obviously, that, you know, you're in line with what we were projecting. ADRs, obviously, what's the best thing you can grow in. If we go in and assess the immediate guest impact areas that we can invest in and bring up that ADR, that's the best case scenario.
What do you, yeah, I meant they said we're missing F&B, but you got 108. How much more money do you think the F&B, you know, from the food would bring in?
Honestly, whenever I look at any semi or full service hotels, I don't really,
Yeah,
unless it's a metro area, I don't even.
It's
just
just
added amenity.
exactly, because it's like very low profit margin.
Well,
anyway, right?
well, even
Razor
that,
thin.
a lot of times now, guys, a lot of times, even though you have to understand, sometimes the F&B is simply amenity. They have that for amenity, and they either break even or lose a little bit. Some, right, especially if they ain't managing them efficiently. So that's why, you know, that's why Neil's saying you don't really pay attention to it. Some do, some don't. Yeah, so even Chris is agreeing most hotel restaurants lose money. Right. So, but I mean, one of the reasons why they're not really restaurant managers, right? So you'll see a lot of hotels, they actually just lease the space out and charge rent. That's more profit, or they do a gross rent lease. Meaning they get a percentage of the gross sales. Yeah. Or they may do a net. It just really depends on your operator. Yeah. So
your hotel might in Sarasota, once it's built,
that's
there's
gonna make
a restaurant, right?
That restaurant
and one bar. Yeah. Yeah.
We now, I though will not. First of all, the management company I have, they will not run that damn restaurant. Okay. I promise you that. Right. Because you know them third parties.
No, I know the scenario. That's why.
So we're actually, and we'll have meeting space. Well, not meeting space, but commercial space. So the guy actually bought that space, but I'm going to set it up to rent it back, and we're going to bring in a chef and or do a joint venture where we'll bring in a well-known restaurant of some sort that blends in with the type of experience we want to provide and bring that in for the restaurant. So that they will be profitable, or at least have least they're in the business to profit. Let's say that.
Right.
So it won't, and then in addition, it won't be heavily dependent on just serving the hotel. It will, what will be great about this, they'll have a base of business every day, but overall they still are retail.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's like having your, and anybody knows about, sales, Chris and Neil and Neil in here. I'm gonna shrink the hotel, as we say. Some of these are basically, I get a base of L&R, which are corporate rates or corporate business. I like to compare it to Section 8, but I got my main business in
guaranteed rent.
Yeah, you got some good. So if you got restaurant, you got to guarantee 40 or 50 people coming in to eat every day, right? So that's enough to pay some bills. And then you got your retail coming in every evening,
right?
Because where I'm at, it's the strip. They eat out there all day, every day.
Yep. So yeah, like in terms of hotels, right, Mike? So you need a combination of the right location, with the right brand, right, and then obviously the right management, right?
Yes.
The right hotel operator. If you get all three and you buy it at well below replacement cost, then that you'll make a lot of money with hotels.
Yeah.
You agree with that? Okay, cool. So what are your guys' questions? Man, these are great questions, Mike.
Yeah,
like
no,
these are like,
we got some
like,
hotel ballers.
I know, like hotel ringers. Like I think Neil is just testing you. Did Mike pass the test, Neil?
Yes, it is.
All right, Camille.
No, I appreciate it.
Camille asked, thanks, Neil. And anytime you want to share, brother, please come on and ask, man. No problem. Camille asked, what is ADR? ADR is average daily rate. Now, in apartments, you will hear monthly rents. Well, in hotels, we talk about daily rent, and then they talk about the average. Now, the reason they don't say daily so much, they say average, because in one given day, you could probably have 5 different rates depending on when they book.
Right.
For example, a golf tournament that we got in Columbus, we're going to be sold out. Now, if your people are on it, they're going to have this, they already blocked that out. So that's probably not a good example, but I'm going to use it anyway. Ahead of time, if you would have booked it out early, the rate was still higher. But let's say we were charging $220 a night or $250 a night, right? But then as it gets closer, the rate goes up even more, right? And so now they may pay $300 a night. And then let's say if they only got 1 or 2 rooms up, it's gonna go up even more. But if they have a few rooms available, they may drop the price just to fill it.
Got it.
And so that's why they say average daily rate, because you're going to take the average of all those prices and or those rents, right? And that's going to be your average daily rent
all across the entire year.
And then, well, yes, I was just today. And then when we say ADR for the deal, we want to know what your ADR is for the average for the entire year. So right. So there you go.
And then also, not to make it overly complicated, but depending on whether your hotel is leading or lagging the concept, meaning it's against its competition, right? So depending on that too, like where do you put your ADR? Because the ADR of the hotel now doesn't necessarily mean when you take over it will be the same ADR, right? So it just depends.
That's where you get into the star report, and it gets a little tricky, but I'm gonna keep it basic. But and I'm gonna teach you about third-party management. I'll be talking about the third-party management like they the devil. So
it can be like a 2-hour bitching session.
No, man. I now one thing I wish I would have done like I did, like with my apartment, and I'll come back to answering some questions about ADR and star report and where she ranked. But if I could have started doing a hotel smaller, like some motel or Airbnb or like the boutique / lifestyle brand, I would have started small, and I really would have known my costs from the very beginning. Right? Just like an apartment, I don't care. you can give me a 250, 300 unit apartment. I know all the costs.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you when they say, man, that's some bullshit fees. Right?
Right.
Because then if it don't hit the ratio, and even with hotels, you can still do that. But they base everything largely off the GOP, which they call the gross operating profit. Now, most hotels should be operating at 50% GOP. Some gonna be a little lower, some be a little more, right? But at the GOP, that's where they should be serving. Problem is when you deal with third-party management, they have all these pass-throughs, all these different subscriptions and back office fees. By the time they turn it over to you, you're probably at 30, you could be 35 to 42% GOP.
Did they make the money?
Unless
top.
they got a large revenue.
Right.
So it just depends. So that's why you got to be careful with third-party management that you use. But again, to determine where you should be with your ADR, that's a lot to do with the STAR report, which is also what we call a comp set. In apartments, we say do a comp set, CMU. Hotels, they use a STAR report. But CoStar actually does it well, but not as good as a STAR report.
Yep.
And so with that, it'll show you 5 different properties, 4 or 5, or whatever, how many you want,
Like
in your
sometimes
comp set. And it'll show like the Marriott is doing 80% occupancy. Well, it doesn't say that, I'm sorry. It'll show your subject property and where it is, and then it'll show the average of where the rest of the hotels are. And it talks about the ADR, RevPAR, and occupancy. And so if your hotel has what they call the index, 100% of the index, that means you're getting 100% of your market share. So you're getting your fair share of the market.
Yeah.
If it's 105% index, that means you're getting 5% more of the market.
The average.
Right? If you're at 90%, that means you're not getting your fair share. You're lagging behind the comp set. So you're lagging 10% behind. All right. So, but here's the thing. At minimum, me personally, I want to, depending on the price, if I do a deal, I like to see it lagging that existing property to be lagging the comp set. Because that means there's opportunity. Because if I see, let's say a Hampton Inn or Staybridge or hotels I know that could do better, if they're lagging the comp set, I know there should be an upside there, right? Because I know some of them should be at 100 or 105. So what you can do, that means you can go in and renovate. It could be operations are bad. It could be their sales are not doing well. They're not selling correctly. And and their costs are high, right? So, or whatever, they're not providing good service. So if you can adjust those different things, then you could, if you increase your sales, that will then put you in the 100% index. And then now your occupancy and your ADR begins to increase. And so those are the things that you can do there. I personally want to see me 120%, 140%.
Really?
Yeah, because
you want to
really, listen, guys.
Leading the comp set.
I'm going to give you, listen, guys, especially you newbies here. I want to give you the real deal. And the real deal where people, now when most third-party managements, I don't care who they are, they're going to hit you with some fees. But if they're lagging in sales, they're going to hurt you. And if they're lagging in CapEx, meaning they just pay anything to do the repairs, it's going to hurt you. Because in a hotel, you can easily spend $150,000, $200,000 in CapEx. And that's not in your budget.
Wow.
All right.
50,000.
Yeah.
So out of your pocket.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, every year you got P-Tex units you got to replace. Something goes on with the pool. And then let's say you go in and you didn't want to prepare in the dehumidifier for your Dectron unit for your pool goes out. First of all, that's a big cost. Understandable if it's so. And people, a Dectron unit, it's basically an AC unit, which is a dehumidifier. And it controls your temperature to get the moisture out and yeah.
The humidifier.
Thank you. out of the air. So because you'll have too much moisture. Your people could go in, if they just don't know the market. Realistic retail costs 80, 90,000 to replace. But I knew what the real costs were. I got it done for 47,000.
You save like over 40,000.
Yeah, I mean,
Almost
so my
yeah,
point is,
almost
you know, you gotta really know your
Okay.
numbers and understand those differences.
Yep,
Right.
yep. And yeah, I mean, hotels is one of those that if you do it right, you'll make millions and millions, right? But
the
if you
key-
just wing it, you lose
Yeah.
millions
but
and
the
millions
key I
too.
get, and get your sales.
Mhm.
You get your sales going, and you understand what's in the market, and you take what's in the market. You take it. I believe in taking what's in the market, because then what that does is what I call shrink your hotel. So let's say you have 145 key extended stay, right? And you keep getting all this transit traffic. Transit traffic is basically
They
people
a
only stay
day,
for a
yep.
day or two,
Mhm.
right? Extended stay, you want your average to be 4 days. For me, I want extended stay to camp out.
30 plus days.
I want people staying for 90 to 100 days at a time. And if I got a stable, depending on where it is, I want them taking up 30, 40% of my hotel.
Right.
Sorry guys, I gotta charge this up. So
Right. But
go ahead.
But I guess the bottom line, Mike, is, you know, like yeah, hotels is one of those things that you cannot just wing it. You need to understand what you're doing. I guess in any investment, right?
Yeah,
That is very
any
crucial. You know, like if you just wing it, like you can lose a lot of money, right? So and this is one of the benefits that our master members get is they don't have to make, you know, they don't have to duplicate your mistakes, right?
Not going down like that. Going down.
Yeah, maybe it's like under the table, you know, putting in the center. But yeah, so that's the point, and you know, and because of the time, Mike, let's transition.
Oh, where
to
we
this.
at? I'm sorry.
You know,
I'll
just
talk all day, man.
right. I know, especially about hotel operations. But let's go back to the PowerPoint slides real quick. Just because you know the question like where do you find information about the mastermind, for example, right? So we have this big deal maker mastermind. It's by application only, you know, because we want to get good people. And right now, you know, like we're looking for just 3 more people. Do not apply if you're just curious, you know, to learn whatever. But if you're serious in being a hotel owner in the next 12 months, and you know, like have a skill set that will make you millions and millions of dollars, right? Then yeah, text the word hotel to 206-803-8068. Again, text the word hotel exactly to 206-803-8068. You know, and then
and then save Neil,
Neil's spreadsheet.
no, his email.
Oh, his email. Okay. Right. Yeah. Copy it, please. Yeah, and then you know, like according to the Mortgage Bankers Association of America, you know, they did a study, and all the hotel mortgages out there, there is 247 billion, $520 million
Hey,
of
man,
hotel
you
mortgages.
know how you said billion.
I've emphasized billion with a B of hotel mortgages that are maturing this year. So what does that mean, Mike?
Meaning there's going to be a shift, and there's going to be properties for sale.
Exactly. I mean,
because they're not going to be able to afford the mortgage.
yeah, which is like what 7-8% interest in some cases.
Yeah.
And you know, like some of those hotel owners, unfortunately, will go into foreclosure, right? So it's like, are you ready to take advantage of this massive opportunity that are coming in? And it is this year, 2023, not 2024, 2023, right? So again, text the word hotel to 206-803-8068 in order to take advantage of this, right? Because again, guys, you need the right know-how on how to do this. You can't just wing it, you know. And then in our mastermind, we help our mastermind members. Like we have some mastermind members who specialize in raising private capital, for example, right, Mike? So those people like help the people who find deals, you know. So we have this, you know, like interaction and joint venture, you know, that are happening all over the place, you know. So for example, Karina has this deal. She doesn't know all the rehab costs. And then Laura, who is a new member of the
Oh,
mastermind.
and Laura's out of Texas.
Yeah.
Laura's going to be very, oh my God.
I know Laura.
She's going to kill it.
Right.
I talked to her the other day. She's looking at doing a development, a mixture of hybrid of hotel, apartment, office, shared space.
Yeah, and see, the thing is, Amit, who's also a member of the Mastermind, he found a piece of land that he can do all those developments, and he is looking for an expert on ground up construction. And I told him, meet Laura, So
Yeah,
and
Laura.
then, so guys, those are the kind of things that it's not just the know-how, but also the networking among the different members that bring something unique to the table. And that's why the mastermind is like by application only, because you want to, I mean, Mike will not waste his time like coaching someone who is not going to implement what we're teaching, right? So, and then these people became hotel owners, right? So Devon Reed's like 3 hotels, right, Mike?
Yeah.
Over $40 million worth of hotels.
That's right.
DLU bought like 4 hotels, in just 12 months. Johannes Orpelainen, 3 hotels in 6 months. So our question is, why not you, right? Again, text the word hotel 206-803-8068, 206-803-8068. And again, I don't know why the slides look this way, but it is what it is. Again, guys, go to text the word hotel 206-803-8068. All right. You guys have questions on the mastermind?
Somebody asked about the 2-day workshop or today's workshop. Would that replay be available?
Well, yes, I have it recorded. So I guess
you can send them.
I
just send us your email. And, we'll send it over.
All right. And then Dwayne asked the question, what should you look for as far as good market to invest in? Yeah, Dwayne is one of our members of the mastermind, but yeah. So good market for hotel, I'm assuming, right? So you need a market that have like a diversified demand drivers, preferably close to hospitals, sports arenas, theme parks, anything that will drive a lot of people to go there, like a hot location, so those are just some of the basics in there. And we did discuss that in the modules in the online course.
Oh, you said the 2-day workshop in Ohio, well, that's in session.
Yeah, the big deal workshop.
Yeah,
we're still setting it up, because Walt would be at work, so we need someone to help set that up.
We'll get that set.
Yeah. All right. And then what are your guys' questions?
That's what it is actually.
Okay. All right. If there are no more questions, what time is it now?
It is 12:54.
Yeah. Okay. So
it's going to millionaire mindset.
Millionaire mindset, guys.
Yeah. So guys, just want to talk to you. There's so many things that we want to share about, but the biggest thing is never quitting. I can't emphasize it enough. And so many people like, well, yeah, I understand we don't quit, but here's the real issue. And then it not only it applies to life, but it applies to your business. I can't say it enough. 90% of businesses go out of business because they couldn't come up with a solution. 90% go out of business. So that's why you got a lot of only 10%ers, right?
Right.
And what happens when they go out of business because they can't know the solution, because when they didn't find a solution, they broke, they cracked, they fell apart. And that's what they get frustrated and then they stop. And that's why I continue to say, don't stop. Don't quit. Don't get me wrong, not understanding, not having a solution, not having the answer. It could be stressful. It is pressure. But what I'm telling you is take that pressure, take that stress, and continue to practice solutions and keep pressing it and keep pressing it off of you until you strengthen your resolution muscles, right? And then from there, you'll begin to win, but you cannot quit. So guys, whatever it is that you desire, you can do big deals. You can do apartments, hotels. This is a pathway to replace your W-2. This is a pathway to lead you to your financial freedom. This is a pathway to take care of multiple things that you are looking for. Whatever it is that you desire, this is the pathway. I am certain of it, because if you put the work in, you will be there. Now, I cannot guarantee you will be as successful as I am or the next person, because it's the only thing I can guarantee is if you put in the work, I'm certain that you will be successful. I'm certain that you will obtain greater cash flow. I'm certain that if you use this creative mind for your deals, it will pay for whatever it is that you're looking to buy. If you want the Bentley, guess what? Go find the deal that pays for it. If you want to do the vacation, you know, find something that pays for that. And that's something is real estate. That's something is hotel. That's what, you know, when I first started, every multi-unit I bought, I dedicated to a bill. And that's how I became wealthy, right? Because I ain't have no bills. I had all these properties and no bills. For example, my car payment, I've never had a Infinity 45 or whatever that was, right? Q45. I think my payment was $345 a month. My rental property for a family paid me $550 net a month. You know what? That payment was covered and the insurance took care of it. So technically, I ain't have no car payment. My mortgage, well, I got a 2-family and I rented the other unit out, and that rent paid the mortgage, so I was living free. I was balling then. Then guess what? I bought me another 2 4-families, and that netted $800 a month. Do you know what? That paid for any of my miscellaneous bills that I had. So now I had this 9 to 5, I had this W-2, and I was banking my whole entire check. I truly felt like Rick James. I'm rich, bitch. That's where it all started. And what I'm saying is, the bigger you think with a BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal, the bigger the deal, the more money it comes, the more that you have to spread around. And look, the more cash, like now the deals I'm doing, all of it will go to our trust for my family. I won't even take any money off of it because we've done so many deals now. And what I'm telling you, this can be you as well. It is you if you decide to pick it up. It is you if you decide to choose this path. Because I am certain that you will be successful if you follow the steps, if you put in the work, if you make the commitment. Because I can make a commitment to you that I'm sure that you will be in. But you just have to put in the work. Hey, that's our time. God bless you. God keep you. May God bless you beyond your belief, not your capacity. And remember, you're one big deal away.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Thanks so much. Who we got? Let's say goodbye to everybody.
Amelia, Cheryl, Chester, Coley, Crystal. Crystal, there are 2 crystals.
We got 2 crystals. We want a BP. Is that
Danny
BPE
Gold.
crystal?
Yeah. Danny Gold, Dennis Emerson, Expertise.
J.R. Ewan, there he is.
John. All right, Kay.
J for JV. I guess
Kelsey is here. One of our Mastermind members. Monique Newman.
Oh, Joe,
Yep,
put the
one
number
member.
up. Joe said put the number up again. I think that's, what is the text number again?
206
803 8068.
8068, guys. 206
We got
803
John and
8068.
Jonathan.
Right. Text the word
Jeremy.
hotel, guys.
All right, thank you. So glad to see you. And hey, don't forget I do lives at night too. Kelsey, hey, how you doing? Kay White representing New York. We got Lee and Mark and Max. Mike P. When's the next event? The next big event is June 7th through the 8th. Cincinnati, Ohio, Sharonville.
Then after that,
But I'll
it's
do a few
September.
lives on Facebook and YouTube.
Mhm.
Oh, after that, Burr 360.
September
will be in
27,
September.
28.
Yep, 26th through the 28th. We
Oh,
have
3
the Burr.
days.
Well, 2 days.
Yeah. So I think 27 and 28.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
All right. Hey guys, peace out. See you, Sam. See you, Rodrigo. Neil, thanks so much.
And
We'll
then-
email you as well. See ya.
Yeah, and Stephen,
Neva.
we have a meeting too. Stephen Goldborn, who is attending our Big Deal workshop. So
Okay.
again, guys, Big Deal workshop, the price will increase again by $100 next week. So get it now, bigdealworkshop.com.
All right. Peace.
All right, see you guys.